Welcome to a very special afternoon episode of Pels in the Blender. We got the motherfucking man, Justin Knapp, in the building. Boo Cruise. Yeah, shout out to Justin and Ross, Boot Cruise creator in the building, man. First off, welcome. I'm happy to have you. Happy to have you on the show. How are you doing this great afternoon?
Good, man. Excited to join the show. And shout out to you for putting all the work, man. We at our whole team sees it and love what you're doing, and kind of like how we started, right? Just giving a voice to the fans, and now we're here. So like this, it's incredible. Like when we first started this, like how many people you meet doing this, right? And like now. It's just really cool to see us connect over the Pelicans and just our general love for not only the Pelicans and Saints, but the state of Louisiana.
Absolutely. And y'all were, in my opinion, y'all were one of the most necessary things in my generation that was needed because Boot Crew specifically, like you said, y'all do the Saints, the Pelicans, LSU, and y'all shine light on everything Louisiana sports. And people tend to forget how great how great this place is from an athletic standpoint, from a cultural standpoint. And shout out to y'all, man, for all of the work. Very talented people on the staff that cover every sport, everything y'all got going on, man. Top tier, multi platforms. Just like I said, y'all was absolutely necessary, and kudos to y'all on the rise, doing the work constantly. Like I wouldn't even have the confidence to do this without y'all. So appreciate y'all.
Oh man, like just hearing that, just makes me smile, because it's I'm obviously here, but like it's just the whole team, right? Just like we have some of the best creators with the Pelicans and Chaz and Jarrett and Chris and Lito and Ross, and then you look over the Saints side of things with Chris Rosaglu, but none of this is possible without the two that don't really come on the shows and do that stuff is Lala and Jake Hardy, who work tirelessly every single day to produce the best content. Like what you said, man, like it's not just New Orleans, it's Baton Rouge, it's Lafayette, it's Lake Charles, it's the whole state. And what we kind of wanted to do was highlight the whole state. And we're starting to dip our toes now into high school stuff and high school athletics. And I know when growing up, I tell a story all the time. Like there was nothing better growing up and waking up and seeing your name in the paper as a high school student. Like you just get up, like you go look at your stats and you show your friends and you cut out the clippings and all that kind of stuff. And now we're kind of bringing that to the high school side of things, and we're really excited to launch BKM Preps.
We got it exclusive. Yeah. We got it exclusive.
So we're gonna be covering high school football and basketball, and BKM Preps is actually ran by 3 high school students. So highlighting them, getting them in the building because they want to do media, they want to know how to do podcasts and how to cover games. So just really excited to launch that as well.
Bro, shout out to y'all, man. Literally changing the game and taking this thing to another level for sure, in every level. But again, we are here because of the Pelicans, and I know short on time, so I'm not gonna waste too much of your time. We're gonna go right into it. So I don't know if everybody does know, but you are a coach, right? Yep. So when you people don't understand that when you critique, it's not coming from a place of like, I don't actually understand what I'm looking at. It's not just a random fan kind of watching the game. Like this is your career. That's what you're doing. So you see these things every day. So when you're watching Willie, what are you just how are you feeling as a coach watching Willie coach this team?
Sure. That's a fair question. Like, look, I'm pretty hard on Willie. And like he does do some, he does things well. That's not, I just think certain things that I watch, right? Like year 1 to year 4, what has he gotten better at? What's up, Chris? Year 1 to year 4, and you can't really judge a coach off of year 1. And I hate, I don't want to say hate. I don't like people saying, well, he had 49 wins and so on and so forth. It's look, you as a coach, the number one thing is, can you put your players in the right situations to succeed? Right. And that's what I'm looking at, right? Like when we're 5-on-5 and we're watching, like, where is Trey Murphy with Zion? Where is Zion? Like, why is Zion always in the corner? Why is Herb Jones stuck in the corner? How is he getting players in position to succeed? We talk about this on the show all the time. Herb Jones to me is not just a corner 3 shooter. I think
Absolutely.
Herb Jones, you can put him sometimes at the point guard position. You can put him at the big position. Sometimes you can put him in the middle of the floor. He's a high IQ guy. He can dribble. He can create. He can finish at the rim. If he shoots threes and hits that, that's great. But just turning him into a catch and shoot guy kind of drives me crazy. Same thing with Trey Murphy. We've been talking about Trey Murphy. What does Willie Green do to put Trey Murphy in the best spots to succeed? Right? We all know Trey Murphy is a super talent, but you don't see that on a nightly basis, right? And the same thing with Zion. Like the Zion Trey thing, it should be automatic one of your best 1-2 combos. Whether you see Trey Murphy improving his handle. Obviously, he's got the shot, but now he's like doing mid-range. He's attacking the rim. I love to see those two in action. And the one thing that kind of drove me crazy with Brandon and Zion is how many times did you see them do a pick and roll? How many times did you see them? Right? How many times did you just see a Brandon Zion 2-man game on the left-hand side? And it's things like that I'm watching. I'm not watching, wins or losses and things of that. I'm watching ATOs. Is he going to play through a timeout? He's going to call a timeout. Certain situations. I think I broke down a situation last year where you're down 1 or 2 points and you have a chance for a 2-for-1 opportunity and he doesn't take it. Yeah. And then it limits your possessions. So that's what I'm looking at. And with Willie, he's a great guy. Obviously I think he does some good things. Like I think players like him. He's a likable guy. I think defensively he's done a nice job. I think he'd be better, but offensively we all know that's his weakness. And you have a guy in James Borrego right next to you. Just lean into him. And like the one thing as a coach, like as a head coach, yes, you have the final say, but the best thing as a head coach, the one thing you got to do is listen to your staff and trust your staff. And I think that Willie sometimes doesn't want to do that and just kind of does his own thing. And look, that's his call. He's the head coach.
Let me pose a question to you because you coach high school, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So you should know this better than anything. Like when you get to the professional level, you kind of sometimes you can be like the roster turns over, but you can be stuck with a team for the most part. Like you have Zion going on, what is it, year 7 now?
Yeah.
So you'll have the same roster for an extended period of time. In high school, you'll know roster turns over all the time. Kids graduate, they new kids come, you kind of have to keep remixing it. Let me ask this. Do you think part of Willie's offensive limitations is, because I've heard coaches say this, you can't run something with one team that you can run with a different team. Every team is different. So my question is, and respectful to all the players, I don't think this is the case, but I'm going to just throw it out there and see what you think. Do you think they have trouble running a sophisticated offense? Like if you hear Brian, when LeBron James does the Mind the Game podcast, he talks about how even in practice, like today, they'll go over a play and say something as simple as, hey, now flip it, we'll run it to the other side. And people struggle running the same play, just flip to the other side. Do you think the Pelicans have that particular problem possibly? And so the simplest way to do it is just, hey man, corner, you know what I mean? Elbow, something very
keeping it simple. Look, it's hard to say if you're not in the building, right? I appreciate that, Trey. It's hard to say when you're not in the building. The one thing that, and I love that Jared said this, he said this a couple of years ago, but you never see the Pelicans play the same way, right? You don't see them play the same way every single night, whether Zion's in the lineup or not. And that's one thing Willie has like to give him some bail. Like he has not had a healthy roster. I get that. I totally understand it. My problem is they don't play the same way every night. Right? Like they play the identity of it, the culture. What is your system? Like this is what we're going to die. This is what we're going to live and die on. Right. And that's my biggest thing with Willie is you'll see, we'll go from point Zion to, well, Brandon needs the ball and then Trey Murphy's forgotten. It's, can we play the same way every single night, whether Zion's in the lineup or not? And I think that right there would be a good base to start at. Now, to your point, look, these guys are high IQ guys. They are. So, they are. So I don't think it's really a player problem, but also players need to be available. And to be honest, to Willie Green's like players are not being available to him. To his defense, and so I can understand he's had a really tough time over these last couple of years, and hopefully he can just have a healthy roster. Because look, even in the 49 win season, they were obviously it's one of their best seasons they've ever had. Still, the way they played every single night, they just relied on talent, and that was our biggest thing right there.
Absolutely. I was that entire 49 win season, the way that team would lose games, I thought that was like a 55 to like
It should have
good
been.
coaching. That's a 55 to 56 win, top of the West level team in that particular season. And when you have the luck of health like we had that season, obviously Brandon got hurt, late in the season, but for the most part, when you got most of your guys like that, you have to capitalize. And I think that year more than any year was the true indictment on Willie, because you had most of the horses, and the way that you was losing with the blown leads, and if you're down in the fourth, they had 0 wins,
Right.
and is we could run through the stats, but like those numbers were very, very telling to what the season looked like. Let me ask you another question. Can Willie, because he's pretty, the fan base is pretty much out on Willie Green, right? Do you think there's any way Willie can get back into the good graces of the fans?
Yeah, you know why? Because winning cures all. Like no, like winning. If you win, right? Like no one really necessarily cares, right? I mean, now we break it down in a sense of like how did we win, how did we lose, kind of thing. But to a normal fan, you're gonna just want to see them win. Willie's got to win, and he's in a really tough spot. You don't know if Herb Jones or Trey Murphy will be available for day one. You have no clue. Obviously, DeJounte's out, so that's 3 starters right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and Joe Dumars coming in, and his record of firing coaches,
pretty pristine.
Yeah. So Willie's got to get off to a hot start. If you get off to another 2-7 start, 1-10 start, which has happened before, like,
oh my God,
I don't think you can, because I think it's gonna be a quick move, because one, we all know about the draft pick we traded away. And then I thought it was very interesting how Joe Dumars did not want to lose James Borrego. And I think that's been kind of a lost talking point this offseason, is why are we so gung-ho on retaining James Borrego? I mean, look, there have been multiple instances I've heard multiple times. Willie Green and James, Willie Green just wants to do his own thing. He doesn't want to listen to James Borrego. He wants to do his own thing. So why was it very important to retain James Borrego if we all know that Willie Green doesn't really listen to him? Of course he's going to listen, but like, why doesn't he implement James Borrego's style? And that was like, I wanted to ask you this question when Brandon went down in the 49 win season. Do you remember when Zion and Trey went on that West Coast trip?
Absolutely.
And they went like 5-0 and they went insane. Yep. Trey Murphy went insane. Zion went insane. They
Trey was playing 35 minutes a game, going for 30. Zion, that's with the block against Phoenix and going crazy and
They were playing
State.
fast. Yep. They're playing fast. Zion was playing downhill. He had the ball most of the time. And then Brandon gets back in the lineup and they play a different way.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest gripe I think I have with Willie Green. Like, not everyone's a great X and O coach. Not everyone's like a great schematic coach, but like the 2 things as a coach is adjustments, one, and play style. You got to be consistent, whether you have Zion, whether you have Brandon, or you don't. And like, I always go back to that, the Memphis days when John Morant was out. Well, Tyus Jones just came in and they were fine.
The same system. Yep. Let me ask this, because I think the problem with Willie, because a lot of people say they like Willie, which, lends to him being a good person and stuff like that. But when you had Stan there, Stan didn't care about being liked. Stan was, we're going to run through Zion. This is our best player. Brandon, you could go spot up in the corner. And if you remember, that was one of the last times you saw Brandon shoot 6 threes a game and, was getting some of the output. But the team wasn't necessarily, I don't want to say functioning, but that was the best version of Z. You started seeing some things come along, and that season just didn't sustain. But in this particular instance, do you think Willie is kind of like, I think this is the benefit of Brandon now officially being out the building, is that he was, okay, I can build around Zion and we can play a style with Zion. And then when Brandon comes back, is Brandon my best player? Griffin never officially said, hey, this is the person's team, make it fit around them. Like, how do you feel about that in general?
Yeah. I personally think it's like too much has happened between Zion and Willie to where like Zion can trust Willie. I just think going back to that Stan Van Gundy, those Stan Van Gundy days, Brandon didn't like Stan.
No,
I think Zion liked Stan.
Zion had no problems
because Stan was a heart, like, this is who I am. these are my expectations. Like, we aren't friends. We're trying to win basketball games. And I think that gets lost in translation. I know there are a lot of bad things with Stan Van Gundy, but at the same time, he wanted the best and wanted to win at a high level. He didn't want to be friends. He didn't want to and so I think Zion was challenged, and we all know Zion loves to be challenged.
Absolutely.
Like when he gets called out in public and things like that, Zion likes to be challenged, and he raises his game. So I don't think Willie ever invested in a Zion, and I can't blame him because he hasn't been available consistently. But I do think there was a little rift with Brandon, Zion. Whose team is this? Who's the number one option? Because to your point, that was never established, and that's why I think they've struggled so much in crunch time. It's like, all right, crunch time, we're down one, tie game, 30 seconds. Who's getting the ball?
What are we doing?
And it goes back to people are standing, they're looking around, they're dribbling, and so. With the Willie Zion stuff, like, does Willie have an option? Like, he has to.
Yeah, now
he has to lean into Zion, but has too much time passed and too many things have happened. I mean, look, I think you'll see a different Zion this year. Obviously, if he stays on the court, and I think you'll see Willie just be like, okay, this is your team, because he doesn't have another option.
And if you look back when Brandon was out, not the 49 win season, the year previous to that, when they won the 42 games, when Z was rolling, Willie won coach of the month. I think it was December. Was it December? One of those.
Is that when they swept Phoenix? I think in that home and home.
Yeah. That's the 360 windmill by Z. So what we do know is that when Brandon is away, we've seen it on two instances that Willie absolutely will lean into playing through Zion. I think now I've been like extremely adamant that Joe Dumars being here makes the difference, because Joe Dumars has come out and said, this is Zion's team. We're playing through Zion. So you don't even have Willie you don't even have Willie to say, okay, maybe it's Trey. We're going to play through her. No, it's Zion's team. We're going to lean on the best player. And I think that goes a long way. You was kind of talking about it earlier. I kind of want to transition to this about the utilization of the roster, right? So we all know that the roster is not maximized, right? But there are very talented pieces. Like when Jordan Hawkins got drafted, we thought this is exactly what this team needs. You see, when James Borrego coached in 2 games, he coached 2 games, they look like a completely different team. Go ahead.
Perfect example. The perfect example right there. You saw James Borrego step in twice, and they played completely different. Fast pace, getting up a lot of threes, attacking the rim, different shot selections. Like, there wasn't the midi. It was, threes, we're going to play pace, we're getting the rim. That's my problem. Right there. It's exactly what you just said. It shouldn't matter that a different coach is coaching the same team. It's like you should be playing the same style, and they completely have 2 different styles. Now, the utilization thing, like you mentioned Jordan Hawkins. We talk about this all the time on the show. Like, whose fault is it? Is it the player's fault, or is it the coach's fault? Look, Hawkins, I think, has been a disappointment, but at the same time, and here's another thing that drives me crazy about Willie. You remember that game he outdueled Kyrie against Dallas? I think he had like 35 or something like
35 was catch and shoot off the screens. They ran the same play twice. One time I remember it was a little quick to the wing. He come off the screen from JV, catch, shoot.
Outduel Kyrie Irving, right? And how does he get rewarded?
Benched.
1 game, benched.
Benched.
And it's like, as a player, how can you get in a rhythm? How do you it's like, if I benched you, right? I guess my coach doesn't trust me. And so, like, you kill a player's confidence by doing that. And it becomes really hard for that player to play for that said coach. And so that's kind of stuff that Willie does, where like he has his favorites, and no matter what, I'm going to play them. And as a head coach, you cannot do that. You got to go with the hot hand, or who gives you the best chance to win every single night. And I think that's one of Willie's flaws. Like the JV stuff. Like, Lito texted me the other night, like, why is JV still not on this team?
Yeah. Let me ask you, did you think JV not being on this team was, obviously we all know that Willie, well, in the midst of this conversation, I guess I'd be willing to pose the question, because I was about to say Willie Green has a style that he wants to play, but does he? You know what I mean? Like, now I don't know.
We're talking about favorites. Like, he loved playing Larry Nance over Jonas Valanciunas. And it's like, Jonas, Did a lot of good things, I thought, for Willie. Shit, how many games did he miss? 2, 3 games in his career in New Orleans, like
available.
stuff like that. That's like, I'm like nitpicking with Willie, but like those are my frustrations. That's what I'm like to begin the show is like, that's what I'm looking at. How is he treating players and how he's giving confidence to players? And is he putting those players in positions to succeed? Like I vividly remember, we talk about Jordan Hawkins. I vividly remember a game 2 years ago, maybe his rookie year. We all know Jordan Hawkins' ball handling skills are not good at all.
Absolutely. They had him bringing a point. I know exactly what you're talking about.
They're playing, it's like a 1-point game. I forget who they're playing. Either way, he has Jordan Hawkins bring up the ball instead of Herb Jones. And we didn't really have a point guard. And just
they take it from him.
I think, it was the Bulls because Kobe White ripped him at half
twice. I think, yeah.
And it's like, Jordan Hawkins created that turn. Like that's on Jordan Hawkins. But at the same time, Jordan Hawkins isn't a point guard. He wasn't drafted to bring the basketball up. He was drafted to knock down threes.
Yep.
And like, that's what I'm talking about as a coach. You can't put that player in that position to succeed. Because then
not when you have Herb Jones on the court. It's one thing if you have no other options. You absolutely have the guy there.
Herb Jones played point guard at Alabama. Like he can bring the ball up. Like those are the situations that I'm looking at. Like I'm not just saying I don't like Willie and all this other stuff. I'm just watching those moments and being like, as a coach, you cannot do that.
What would be ideal? Obviously, we know we want to play in transition, and I think the things you saw with James when he coached the team those days, and again, this is not just like the episode to just heavily endorse James Borrego, but what you saw in those games, like basketball is a flow, like everything has to kind of help each other. So you saw them playing in transition, but even defensively, hey, we're doubling, we're pressing, we're trying to cause as many turnovers as possible, like an aggressive style of defense to fit the offensive style he was trying to play. I don't necessarily see that with Willie. So if you were running this team, like other than the transition, how would you maximize the roster from like, would you play more of a motion offense? Like, would you go more of an inside out? Like, how would you schematically run the offense?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's a question that like, you have to like sit down, like whiteboard and write every single name down. But like, I would move Zion Williamson all over the floor. I would put him at point guard. I'd put him in the middle of the floor. I'd put him in the short corner. Like Zion is a hub. And you see them, like Jokic is used perfectly in Denver. Like, I would use him as a screener, a roller, a short roller, a point guard, a guy that you can dump the ball in at the high post and play splits off of. Like think of Draymond Green. And I want you to think of Herb Jones in that role as well.
Yep.
Like, why does Draymond, like, it's not like Draymond Green's doing all this other stuff. Like, he's a high IQ guy that you get him. What's up, Chaz? You get him in the middle of the floor and you can get into so many different things. You can put, like, if I'm just drawing, it's hard to draw out, but I put Trey Murphy right corner, Jordan Poole right wing. I'd put Zion maybe left corner there, and then whoever your fifth is in the left wing. I'd flash Herb Jones up, dump it off, and then you have Jordan Poole and Trey Murphy in split action. And what split action is Jordan Poole's going to screen and is reading Trey. If Trey goes under and back cuts, Jordan Poole's popping out for three. If he uses the screen, Jordan Poole can, either dive or go fill out corner. You're putting your two best shooters in the action with Herb Jones in the middle of the floor. And God forbid, they get something on the right-hand side. You can then have Zion cut left, left side
easy
back door.
Offense.
And then, like, you can just simply, if you really wanted to, just bring up Zion in a pick and roll with Jordan Poole, put Trey Murphy in a corner, put Herb Jones in a corner. You dump it off to Zion. He's playing 3-on-2 downhill. Like, it's just putting the defense in different positions and giving them different looks, right? Putting Zion at the top of the key. He's got the ball. He's the point guard. Put him at the high post. Put him in the short corner. Put Herb Jones. And so you're not giving the same look every single time. And that's where defenses get confused. And that's where the communication of everything gets, like, really lost. It's hard to communicate a split screen in half a second where I don't know what action is happening. I can come off the screen, I can backdoor it, I can slip the screen. That's three different options right there in half a second. And you don't see that with Willie, right? You don't see him moving Zion around. You don't see him moving Herb Jones around. You don't see him moving Trey Murphy around. Those are the type of things that I'm, looking at. Like, you
that
got
Indiana style of offense, kind of how
Indiana, but
Rick Carlisle runs
look,
his a little bit with
yeah,
all
and
the motion and
Golden
action.
State's the perfect example. But like, if you think about it, like, I know I'm going to compare a couple people, and I'll be like, what the hell? But like
Nah,
Trey
you
Murphy and
good.
Klay Thompson, like Trey Murphy's a knockdown dead shooter.
Absolutely.
Jordan Poole is a really good shooter. Like, you're not going to just let these guys shoot. And if you go look at Golden State, go look at their off-ball movement. Their best shooter, Steph Curry, is setting back screens.
Yep.
Why? Because that defender knows if I'm guarding Steph and I get back screen, I can't help off because I'm not giving Steph a three. And if you don't help off, it's a dump off layup. If you do help off, Steph Curry's coming off a three.
You see Steph Curry screen Draymond's man multiple times. Like, he's setting screens on the big.
Go look at it. And like, you just see Golden State, you see, and what's crazy is Willie was part of the staff, is like, you see Draymond used so many different ways. And so like, that's where, and like, to your point, the Pelicans have a talented roster. You go look at it. It's talented. Like, it's not like Charlotte. Like, it's talented.
I did the film review on Zion like a day or two ago. And if you watch, and man, this is why I think Joe Dumars is going to be so good for this team. One, I think right now he's Willie proof in the offense, because that's why you hear him say things such as like, okay, I need to have more players that can create, because Zion being the only one that can initiate or create is a tough way to live for 82 games. And he's absolutely right. So I think that's why you see the Queen and Jeremiah Fitz and Jordan Poole. But to your point, if you had, like, I watched the Phoenix Suns game from last year. Now, again, this is a 21 win team last season. They still, anytime Zion touches the ball, you know he pretty much has the ISO because of the offense. But even still, he's still getting doubled and Trey's getting wide open threes. Could you imagine, like you said, if they had any action with a Poole and Trey, or at that point at the time, it would have been CJ and Trey. Like, you can't make a decision.
Because Trey's also a lob threat. Like what we're talking about, like, and like, that's like the split action that I think is like, you see Golden State, right? Like Trey, like you see Golden State run, like they know it's coming. Like, it's not like they're not like doing film work. Like they dump it in the short corner to Draymond Green, and Steph Curry's gonna come set of an up screen here, and then they got to make a decision. And like, it's just putting the defense in positions to react quickly, because that's where communication fails. And that's where you see open layups, wide open threes, stuff like that. And it's putting your best players in the best position to succeed. And I think, we talk about this all the time. I was watching a Nick Saban clip the other day, and he was a quarterback, and like, he's like a freshman or sophomore quarterback. He went to his coach. He said like he called all the plays, and his it's like the last play of the game. He goes up to his high school coach, and he's like, "What play are we going to run?" And he goes, "Just give it to the best player." But it would make sense, and like, this is what Willie Green has not understood is in crunch time, it's Zion Williamson and get out of the way.
Yes,
we live and die with Zion, right? You live and die with Zion. He should always have the basketball in his hands, making the decisions. I would just simply have a 2-man game with him and Trey, him and Jordan Poole, whatever you want to do. But it's that right there is involving your best players in the action is all I'm asking. And it goes back to what we said earlier. How many times in Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, I know they didn't play a lot, but how many times did you just simply see Zion Williamson set a down screen for Brandon Ingram? Just one down screen.
The problem with the Brandon and Zion, so a lot of people said that, hey, these two can't play together. And it was obvious that, from the time that they didn't work as well together. But to your point, you didn't really see them put in a situation to try and maximize or make things very simple for him. Example, if Zion has the ball, why can't he just set a little down screen and go and Brandon just seal his man at the paint? A little quick dump down. There's nobody that's guarding Brandon. You know what I mean? In the paint like that. That's easy.
And then have the Zion set a step up screen for a shooter coming off of him. So either the defender has to go over and you have a slip for Zion, or he gets picked off by Zion. You have a now wide open three, or just let Brandon Ingram go to work. It's that kind of stuff. It's like, it's just, you see, I think there was a comment early on, like you just see in crunch time, they're just standing around. There's no plan. They don't know who to give the basketball to. And like, at the end of the day, yes, players win you games, but that falls on the head coach. And like, that's my biggest problem.
Yeah. I was thinking about this, and this is a good question. I kind of want to address this in a second. we'll talk about that in a second. But before we move on to that, the biggest problem I have with the offense is that we create no easy buckets.
None.
You ever see? It's one thing to run the offense, or like obviously the team is talented enough, so they're gonna score. You're gonna get out in transition and stuff.
Right.
So the big problem is we never see somebody fall asleep on the play, back screen layup, or you know how Denver for the most part they run their offense and they get a lot of just sneaky easy buckets, and sometimes you need those when your team is struggling and you're trying to just, hey, they're on a 8-0 run, they're on a 10-0 run, you just need somebody to lose focus for a second. Hey, let me get a quick back cut or something like that. Like that's to me the biggest gripe that I have. The end game, the no adjustments, and we don't create any easy offense for the team.
Right. And no, you're absolutely correct. And look, I think that's definitely a problem because, you know, back to the brand new, I know he's not on the team anymore, but like he was a good tough shot maker. And it's like, why we take all these tough shots? Like that's what the team wants you to, like, whether it goes in or not, like that's what the defense wants you, like they want you to shoot a lot of tough shots. Right. And so they'll live with them. And so I agree with you in the sense of they don't get a lot of easy looks. And I really do think Jordan Poole, I also think that's not having a dynamic point guard. Like Zion's cool and everything. He's not a dynamic point guard. No. This is a point guard driven league. And I think like you see like the Kyries of the world and those guys that can create their own shot and they don't need much. I think Jordan Poole gives this team something that they haven't had in a while. I really have watched a lot of Jordan Poole clips with Washington and Golden State. And I really did not realize he had that good of a handle. I didn't realize he had that good of like separation and puts guys in the blender and going off screens and so on and so forth, attacking the rim. And that's what I like about Fears. But Fears is a couple years away. Fears is he's still a couple years away. But I like having a guy that you can put the ball in his hands and go get a look. Like CJ was that, but like CJ was, man, it was just getting to the point where he was just getting so old and slow.
Yeah, absolutely. He don't have the juice.
Yeah. Jordan, like, I'm really excited to watch. I tweeted this like a couple months ago. I'm excited to watch Poole, Zion, and Trey all in an action, right? You got a dynamic guard, you got a dynamic scorer, and you got a dead-eye shooter. How is the defense going to react to that? And I think it was either Chaz or Jarrett said on the other show a couple nights ago, who's going to benefit the most from that is going to be Herb Jones. It's
can't leave him.
I think it was Jarrett saying like, if Herb Jones can get back to that 39% clip that he was shooting, and I think he was shooting like 40-something% from the corner threes. This team becomes different. It really, I'm telling you right now, it really becomes different. And I think Jordan Poole is going to bring a type of playmaking we haven't seen in a while. I really do.
So to hit at that, I did a Jordan Poole breakdown earlier, you know, when we was getting started and stuff. And the thing that people don't pay Jordan Poole, I think the credit that he deserves, is his passing is significantly better than people think. So yes, he can create, yes, he can score, and you know, he can hit some tough shots. But if you go back and really watch some of the passes, when you get a chance, go watch some of the passes and plays that Jordan Poole breaks down the defense, doesn't miss the cut, like a very unselfish player. So I think the playmaking, because CJ at this point in his career was, listen, I'm here to get the bucket. So even when he got past somebody, you know, he's only really looking to score the ball. Like at every point when he catches it on the wing, hey, that's probably a shot going up. You got to be wide open to be able for CJ to get off, you know, get the ball to you. In this particular case with Jordan, not only is he more athletic at this point than CJ was, but I think we'll still get the same level of scoring. But like you mentioned with the playmaking, I think, imagine you have Jordan Poole with Zion and Trey sprinting the wings, like the lob threat.
I keep going through this, man. Like I keep going. That's an exciting trio right there. And then like you got Nisi, you got obviously Herb. I keep thinking about this guy. Can Jordan Hawkins, can he just do something? Can he show me something? Right? Because it's interesting. Can he hold his end defensively? But like, just say you throw out a lineup. I know Queen's injured, but just say you throw a lineup out of with Queen, Zion, Trey, Poole, and just say a Herb or a Hawkins. Like, that's a fun lineup. Can you get enough stops defensively? Offensively, you're dynamic. You got shooting, you got ball handling, you got power, you got finesse. You can play through Derek Queen at the top of the key. You can play through a Herb Jones at the top of the key. You got multiple shooters. Like, that's what, like, I'm really interested in looking at. But at the same time, I have to realize who our head coach is. And I haven't seen that over the last 4 years. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
I got us. So I did the season breakdown. I have us getting, if healthy, I have us 49 to 50 wins, just based on the talent alone. I'm in the same camp with Chaz in that I seen Willie win 40 something games. Now maybe the team should be better than that, but I've seen Willie win 40 something games with a similar roster. So I think if you could get a full season of what we got from the end of the 49 season with Z, Trey, Herb, and CJ, I insert Messi, who I think is gonna do more consistently, not necessarily the IQ level that Larry had, but if you remember, Larry was playing a lot of minutes.
Undersized at the position too.
Undersized. So if Missy could do some of what Larry was given, just defensively protect the rim, get out, run, lob threat, just quick outlet stuff like that, I think you can see this team look similar to what they looked like before Brandon came back. And
no, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong, but like, it goes back to health. Like, there's no denying this. Like, they're talented. They're very talented, but talent on the paper doesn't get you wins. It's the schemes, and obviously you need a little bit of luck, but is everybody bought in? And does everybody understand that, we're going to play to this style? This is what we're playing, egos to the side and go from there. Because I do think if Zion is healthy, we've seen him, what he can do, but it goes back to, is he going to play 70 games? I think let me ask this. If you say you project to just say 49, 50 wins, right? How many games then does Zion and Trey need to play?
I got Z. So I got Z making second team all NBA this year. So that's a minimum of 65 games from Z. Trey Murphy just said, you reposted the clip. Trey Murphy said, I'm trying to be an all-star. And, he's trying to, if you're trying to be an all-star, bro, you need to, like, obviously the all-star is midway through the season and stuff, but for Trey to be on track the way their goals, I'm holding them accountable for their words and what they're saying. Trey needs to play at least, and he's been injured a lot these last couple of seasons. You just got that extension. You need to play. I think both of them need to give us at least 65 games.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And look, I'm actually really excited to see Trey. This is the first year we've seen him without Brandon Ingram in his way. We know what Trey and Zion can do. I think Zion and Trey will be a way better duo than Brandon and Zion. They actually make sense together. And I think that Trey has upped his game every single year. Like, you now see him working on his, his mid-range game and ball handling. And obviously we know he can get to the rim. We know he can jump. We know he can shoot. But I think him attacking the rim is the biggest thing. We talked about this in the show. For Trey, he's one of the best free throw shooters in the league. My goal for Trey would be like, I would love to get to the line 6 or 7 times a night. Those are six or 7 easy points for Trey. You then know he's going to drop another 18, 19 points just off his shooting, the way he can attack, how many different ways he can score. So one of my goals for Trey was, how many times can I get to the free throw line? I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm actually interested to look that up. And then his rebounding, because I personally think that Trey can, in transition, rebound and go the other way, get the defense on their heels. And that's when you see the 35-foot bombs. And that's when you see defenders coming out now. And guess what? He just shows and goes. And that way, when Trey's rebounding the basketball and going the other way, the defense now has to react like, oh shit, Trey's got the ball. Once he crosses half court, we got to guard him. And I think those two things for Trey Murphy will make him an all-star. He's got the talent.
Trey shoots about 4 free throws a game.
Yep. I get that to 7.
Yeah.
You get to 7 because I think Zion averages around 8 or 9 a game. You get Trey Murphy at the free throw line 7 times a night, and he's a 91% free throw. Yeah. What is he? High 80s, low 90s?
High 80s, low. He's shot 9. He's 50, 40, 90 before. So, I mean, he's clearly 88 to 91%.
And he's going to get, he's clearly the number 2 option on this team this year, obviously with Brandon Ingram out. And I mean, it's actually going to be interesting between Poole and Trey.
That's what I wanted to ask, to be honest. I'm gonna get to a couple questions, but I want to ask you this. Do you think, and I know y'all had the debate, who's really the number 2? I really don't want Poole and Trey technically to battle for who's number 2, but at the same point, challenge each other and be like, hey, I'm 50 40 90 this year. Can you 50 40 90 this year? I shot 7 free throws a game. Like, I'm shooting 7 free throws a game. Like, oh, okay, I'm trying to get the 8 free throws.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just that healthy competition amongst those two, because I think those two can really push, and people forget, man. I'm not saying that Poole was Steph Curry, but they were looking at Jordan Poole when he was in Golden State as a real heir apparent. Like, they thought they had their guy for a long time locked down, and he was dynamic, played in big games. So I think Jordan Poole can bring something out of Trey from that aspect that Trey Murphy has never seen as well. Even in respect to CJ never played in the finals. CJ never played on that stage. We saw Jordan Poole in the biggest stage, with a very good defensive team, be a really good offensive option.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jordan Poole shot 38% on 9 attempts last year. Like, dude can score the ball. He gets the free throw line 4 times. So, like, to your point, he gets the free throw line the same amount of times as Trey Murphy does. You up those two together, the offense can be good. It can be. Let me say it can be good. They just what's up, Lito? They just gotta have an identity, and I think building around Zion, him being option 1, and as you said, so what I think you hit the nail on the head here is, I don't need Trey to be number 2 or I need Jordan to be number 2. They just need to be 2A, 2B. Just play off Zion, go get buckets, and go from there. I think, the funny question is we're forgetting about DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
Because DeJounte's attacking his rehab hard. I don't know when he comes back, but eventually he's going to come back. And if Willie's still the coach, they're going to have to sit who's going on the bench. Because I mean, personally, I would have DeJounte just come off the bench and just have him cook second teams.
That's not how Willie does it.
So he knows, like, Herb Jones, obviously, I don't like, people are like, well, Herb Jones doesn't go to the bench. It's like, well, is he? Like, he
first team all defense, Herb Jones.
Okay. So then you start, okay, well, what about Jordan Poole going on the bench? It's like, well,
$30 million a year, Jordan Poole just traded for.
Trey Murphy's like
averaging 20.
Right. So, like, when you really break this down, it's like, okay, like, this is gonna be fun for October, November, but once like mid-December comes around, just say you're hovering around 500, you're gonna have a really hard decision to make. Is like, okay, we're hovering around 500. I don't want to mess everything up. DeJounte, you come off the bench, but then you're going to have a $30 million man and over whatever he's making. One of your higher paid players that you traded for, and you gave up Dyson Daniels, you gave up Larry Nance and all this other stuff. Are you going to have him come off the bench? Like, there's just a lot of decisions to make.
So my breakdown of the 49-win season, how we get to 49 to 50 wins, is I think we start off a lot better than people think. Because a lot of people talk about how difficult the schedule is early in the season, but a lot of the teams we play have their own set of challenges as well that they have to overcome. And I think while people are going to be, and I just did the episode about them kind of overlooking the Pels or our team being underdogs, I think we're coming in, we're going to punch people in the mouth. I really believe that. So my thought is that we get to January and we're around 8 to 10 games above 500. And we pull the trigger on Sabonis.
Really?
We pull the trigger on Sabonis. DeJounte is the piece that brings you Sabonis. I'm not sure what other pieces I know what pieces off the bench would make the financials work. Yeah. But I think because of those exact reasons you said, I don't think they forgot about the video that Chaz keeps mentioning. If you look at Sacramento, they're a season away from not knowing what to do. Like, and you don't think they would, if DeJounte Murray comes back, you don't think they would want a cost controlled star point guard to team with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan? Because right now you just have, like, right now they're running Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, it's a
They,
weird team, man. It's a weird team, and I know, like,
hmm
I like Sabonis. Lito called him like a mini hub. Um,
hmm
Now I question how does Zion and Sabonis play together. But I mean, I think those two could play together. I would obviously have to look at some film and stuff like that. But Sabonis, man, he's whether like you call him empty stats, whether you don't, like he's a
he's a triple
really
double
good
threat
basketball
every
player.
day.
Like,
Yeah,
like I don't know where, like, if you're a triple double threat every single night, like, yeah, you can play
yeah,
for the Pelicans kind of thing. So
yeah.
there's a chance, right?
He's like a
Um,
leading the league in rebound. And
every
this is
year,
my
like the last two
every year,
years,
regardless if you say empty stats, he leads the league or top three in leading the league in rebounds every
19,
season.
13, and 6, and he shot 60% from the field last year. Like,
Yeah, for a team
yeah,
that struggles.
yeah.
Yeah,
You, if you have a chance to go get him, like, of course, you definitely go get him. But I'm actually interested. Like, Sacramento's a weird team, man. I
they
mean,
get
look,
off to a rough start.
the one thing I will say, yeah, the one thing I will say about Sabonis, I mean, it's not like a heavy sample size, but I mean, he shot two
Mhm.
and a half 3-pointers last year and shot 41%. And I think that's just enough to play
Yep,
with Zion. It's not like you got
exactly.
to be a guy that's got, you don't need to be a Brook Lopez that launches 6 or 7 threes a night. You got to keep a defense respecting that big that steps out, right? Like when Jonas was shooting threes a couple of years ago, I loved it. And I know, like, he
hmm
wouldn't, like, it just made you, like, if he hit a couple, like, you now have to come out, and guess what? Guess who now has room? Zion Williamson. And that
hmm
was the thing with that. It's like Nisi and Zion. It's like
Yeah.
Zion needs space. You need space around Zion. We've never seen a stretch big. I think Chaz mentioned we had Derek Favors, then you went to Steven Adams, and then you went to,
hmm
Jackson Hayes, and you went to, like, you haven't seen a true center shoot threes alongside Zion Williamson.
Yep.
Sabonis gives you that. It's not like he's gonna knock down 4 threes a night, but it's like, you can't really let him shoot it. You can't leave him wide open.
And listen, the bigger point with why I think Sabonis would fit even more so is because you now have someone who you can dump it into at the paint, or you can play at the perimeter because he can pass really well, and you can finally have. So imagine Sabonis top of the key, high post, whatever, with Poole, Z, Herb, and Trey on the wings, cutting back screen, and you still have the same threat from a scoring option because he still could get you 20.
It's funny you mentioned like, play style earlier in the show, and it's like you just made me think of something. Like, if how many times have you seen a high low action with Zion? Like, I would just also, like, you could flash Herb Jones high post, dump it in, and then Zion from the corner just do a little shallow cut to where he just seals in the paint. You
Yep.
dump it off, and it's 1-on-1, and it's
No
stuff like that
Duckins.
you don't see, and it's like
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, I see this in high school level. We can't see this in the pros. Like, that's my thing with Willie. It's like, give him a like, put him in different positions on the court so the defense cannot get used to it. That's why, like,
Mhm.
in football, like, you had, like, the play action. Why does the play action work so well? It's like, well, shit, if you can run it, like, if you continuously, if you, get the run game going, now you're like, the defense is susceptible to the play action fake. And it's like the same thing with Zion. It's like, okay, we see him at the top of the key. Now can we get him at the high post? Can we get him in the short corner? Can you get him in the other corner? Instead of
Yeah.
just standing. And I think you see Zion stand way too much. And maybe that's a player thing too.
Mhm.
But I would challenge Zion to be more active off ball.
Yep. Here's the question that I have for you, and then after this, we'll go to some of these questions I start, and I'll get you out of here because I know you're on the time crunch. Do you think, and I kind of hinted at this earlier, Joe Dumars is, at the end of the day, that's a Hall of Fame basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about really knows the game, knows what he's looking at. Do you think the questions that we have from a coaching perspective, and this is possibly why he fired so many coaches in his day, when you see, I think he's already challenged Z and Trey and challenged the team to do some of the things that we're talking about, the off-ball movement. So I think you'll get it from the player's perspective. Do you think that Joe Dumars coming down, if he sees some of the things that we're talking about, and he knows, like Griffin probably knows, and I'm not to insult David Griffin's basketball intelligence, but if you're Willie Green, do you respect David Griffin's basketball opinion? No,
I'm interested for you to finish this question, because
so do you think that Joe Dumars is either you give Willie the answers or you get him out, or do you think Joe Dumars being in the building kind of puts the pressure on Willie to do some of the simple basketball things.
For sure. Willie, if Joe Dumars says, "Hey, Willie, you need to do this," Willie's gonna be like, "Yep, I'm gonna do it." And I agree with you, man. I think Joe, look, I've questioned some, like we've all questioned some of the offseason moves and so on and so forth. But I have heard multiple times, like Joe has already changed the way people act inside the building. People are working now. Like people are actually like doing their job. And I think like he's trying to set the standard. Like David Griffin wanted to be friends with everybody. Okay.
Yes.
He wanted to be liked. He wanted to say big words and sell this dream and all this other stuff. And then like, he kind of saw through the BS. Joe Dumars is like, nope, we're doing this. We're cutting out all the fat. We're getting out, you're gone. Like, this isn't a friendly thing anymore. And so I think Joe Dumars in that sense is changing the culture to raising the standard. And like, this is what we're going to be doing every single day. So I do think that Joe is going to change a lot inside of the building. But at the end of the day, though, like you still have to make the right decisions off the court. And like those that are questioning like the draft day trade, like I think they're fair criticism. I just got to see it play out. I got to see what Derek Queen can do. And look, I was pretty harsh on Derek Queen in the summer league, and he looked like kind of he was like lethargic and all this other stuff. But then you saw him starting to get going a little bit, and then of course he gets injured. But I'm interested in Queen and Fears. Like I got to see how this goes, because the one thing that I couldn't stand that Griff did and Chad's been calling us for years is he was just holding on to picks and just praying. And and like as a fan, all we did was watch other teams and hope the Lakers lose, and you hope the Bucks lose, and you do this. Like, when are you trading those assets to get a big player? And it never happened. So like, yeah, Joe Dumars made a really, really aggressive move. Could it be dumb? Yeah, maybe it might be. But you know what? He wanted Derek Queen. He wanted Queen.
Smart.
Right? He had a vision. Like, I want two guys in the top 15 in this draft. I want Fears and I want Queen. All right, man. Let's see what you got. Like, you made the move. Okay, cool. Like, I get it. Like, it's fair criticism, but I can't fault him for wanting to go get a player that he wanted. So, absolutely. Like, in that sense, like, I respect the hell out of Joe. He's come in. He's made changes. He's traded players, like all this other stuff. Like, he wants to build a winner in New Orleans. And so, like, I'm going to watch it. Like, I'm excited. Yeah. I think I texted Chris the other day, like, as sick as I am in the head, like, I miss Pelicans basketball. Like, I just I'm genuinely like excited to go watch them play.
I think this will be one of those years that's similar to the 49 win season, but even if we don't get to 49 wins, like specifically, I think it'll look a certain type of way. And that's the one thing that Joe said. It's gonna look exactly a certain way every night.
And look, I can't, as a fan, like, okay, let's go. Like, I'm ready. And like, that's fair.
Yep. Let me go ahead and get some of these.
It's a great question.
Ghana. Yeah. How can the Pels utilize Zion and Queen lineups double big? Because they've been hitting on it. Joe and again, Chaz, Chaz kind of has the foresight. He's like, we just penciling in Herb.
He's one of the smartest. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. Like, he's a high IQ guy. Like, he talks about the double big lineups all the time. Personally, I do worry. I think even Lito brought this up. Queen's a good rebounder, but can Zion be the same as Queen? Because like that's my biggest concern of starting Queen and Zion is, can you get enough rebounding in that lineup? But I love Zion and Queen with Trey, Poole, and just say Herb. Like, that's a fun lineup. Like, that's a hard lineup to guard.
I think you still put a 5 out there with him, to be honest. Not saying so that you won't play them.
You say like go like Looney slash
Carlo
with Queen.
Say like Queen, Carlo. And this is the only I don't think like I would start this lineup, but say Queen, Carlo, Z, Trey, Poole, right? That's a lot of spacing, athleticism. You could technically play through Queen and do similar things that we talked about with Sabonis. He could play inside. He could take a man off the dribble. The passing is still there, and I think he could.
If you roll out that lineup, give me a team that we're playing that night, and you roll up that lineup. Who would you?
Let's take an average team. Let's say the Spurs.
Spurs.
Everybody loves the Spurs. F the Spurs.
All right, so you gotta deal with Wemby. You gotta deal with Wemby. So who's getting that matchup?
Defensively, who's getting that matchup?
Yeah.
Carlo.
Okay, so Carlo versus Wemby, right? And then you're gonna have, I guess, Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's guarding Fox?
Z or Poole. So let's put it this way: if we put Z or Poole on 5, are we talking about for a full game? Or are we talking about?
I'm just talking like if you're just like first 5, you're starting that 5 right there. Like,
I'm never starting at 5.
Okay, so you're just saying this is just like a in like second like a team. Okay, that's fair. I thought you were saying to start Carlo.
Oh no.
Okay, I was like, oh, that could be a little.
No, God, no. Just more like
okay.
a mix of the game. Like you know how at some points we wanted to see lineups.
Absolutely.
Poole, Z, Trey, something like that.
You could almost
double big lineup throughout the game.
Absolutely, 100%. Like you want to see that. Like I want to see those type of lineups because, like as you said earlier, like Carlo's a guy that can space the floor. Carlo's a guy that can play alongside Zion. Appreciate it. Like those are the lineups that I'd love to see. Are we going to see them though? There was literally a moment. There was a moment where Trey was subbing in for Zion for like 2 straight years. Like, you didn't get to see them play on the same floor. So like that's what I worry about with Willie as well. But that'd be a fun lineup. I agree. Are you big on Carlo? Because I think a lot of people have forgotten about him.
I'm big on Carlo to the point of I think he helps solidifies the roster to a degree. I'm not as questioned about the bigs because when he played last year and we were a bad team, and again, a lot of people don't watch. I watch a lot of this team, even the losses. He played really, really well, and like once he started finding his footing, figuring out how to not get in foul trouble, realizing the space, and all Carlo really has to do is finish. He got a little push shot. Yeah, finish a little bit around the threes. Knock down the corner 3. Just be athletic and run the floor because he protects the rim relatively well. I like what Carlo can bring as one of the bigs on the bench. I think he's as good as Missy, if not better, to be honest. And I think the years of playing overseas has helped him, figure out the pro game.
And look, I'm not saying you're wrong, because when we first signed Looney, I was like, Looney's your starting center, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about? We have Missy." I'm like, guys, like you're still matching up with like the best centers in the world, like the Jokic's and like I know Embiid's like you got to have a center. Like I just don't think Misi's ready. I'm not saying he's not going to play. Like I think his future is bright, but like I do think, like as you said, Carlo brings a little bit different play style than Misi. And Misi's going to continue to grow and get better because that dude works and works and works. And this is like he's only been playing basketball for 5 years now, I think is what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
So there's still things that Looney knows better than Misi and understands, like IQ and just like the mindfulness of the game and stuff like that Misi's going to learn over time. But if you're trying to win right now, and that's what Joe Dumars is like pushing all the chip, like you got to put out guys like Carlo and Looney that give you a better chance to win than Misi.
Yep, I agree. I got one more. We go. This was a quick one. Trey and Zion could be like Franz and Banchero.
I'm telling you, Trey, that's my favorite duo. I think they're going to be if we're just talking duos, like they're a top 10.
Talking about Trey and Zia, Franz and Banchero.
Trey and Zion. Trey and Zion, like together, healthy. They're fully healthy. I know we always have to like address that. If they're fully healthy, Trey and Zion like are like a match made in heaven. Yeah, just run a pick and roll with Trey.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
We ain't even got to run the pick and roll. You just
I would empty side, left side. Yeah. Empty the left side. You run Zion on a screen for Trey. You're gonna switch it. So now you're gonna have a guard on Zion in the post, which will create an advantage. If you go under it, Zion's or Trey's pulling from deep. And then if you're going to hedge it, if you get 2 on the basketball, Zion's now short rolling to the rim on the left-hand side, and you're creating a 3-on-2 advantage.
Yeah.
Or a 4-on-3 advantage. Like that's the stuff that like Trey makes so much sense for. And I think like it's a huge progression in Trey's game that he's doing more ball handling. I think Chaz put out a film session or some clips a couple weeks ago. And it's like, go look Trey Murphy's ball handling from year 1 to where he is now. It is drastic.
Yeah, drastic. Euro stepping and everything. Crazy.
You think Trey, like you think Trey becomes an all-star this year? because we do the comparison to Jaylen Brown, and they're like 4 years in, they're the same player.
I got Trey making I don't know if he. So I'll say this: if the team looks like what I think they look like, I don't know if he makes it, but I think he's like the injury reserve all-star, because there's always the injury reserve all-star, and I think that'll be how he makes it, if he makes it. I don't know if he takes that step this year. Next year for sure, like not this season, but the following season, I'm 100% saying Trey gonna make the all-star. But man, I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate it, Justin Knapp, Coach Knapp.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. Like, just shout out to you, man. I want to give you your flowers. You put in all the work, man. We all see it. We all appreciate it. Thanks for having us all on, man. Like, we're all a fan of your show, and you always watch our show. So, yeah, I'm glad that we can do this cross collaboration. Obviously, during the season, we love to do that as well and get you on the show. We got to get you on the show as well. Give me your. I do want to hear like final prediction. Like you said, 49-50 wins. Does that get you top 6 or no?
So I think we get top 6, to be honest. I think we edge out right at 6, because the top 5 I think is pretty much set. Denver, OKC, Houston, Clippers, and Clippers are old, so I'm kind of on the fence. But Lakers, I think that's your top 5. And to be honest, I'm taking us over the rest of the field.
So you like us better than Minnesota, because we actually had a debate about this.
Really? Yes, easily. Honestly, easily better than Minnesota, because Minnesota, you kind of got to give them, and we'll finish with this and I'll let you go. I know you got to get out of here, but I'll give Minnesota the benefit of the doubt that, hey, y'all actually got into the playoffs and made, 2 deep runs. But the team that Minnesota had, that was the 50-something win team with Karl Anthony Towns, who's an all NBA level player, and Rudy. That team is not the same team with what's his name, Julius Randle and DiVincenzo. And so you telling me that, and I like him, but you telling me that Rob Dillingham is going to be, better than what we get from Jordan Poole? You telling me that Terrence Shannon is going to be better than what I get from Herb Jones, like a healthy Herb Jones? And I love Ant not better than Z, respectfully.
Lito, I hope you're watching, bro. I said the same, because like you bring up a good point. Like the Pelicans are going to be a mismatch every night.
Yes.
Fully healthy roster. The Pelicans, like, if you really, that's why I wanted to do like the site. Like, if you go starting 5, then you go into the bench. Obviously, the benches will be a lot better than the Pelicans bench, but like your top 8.
Yeah. I got a fun episode I did. We should do. Chris and Lito did the 82. I did the 82 game season too. We should do a crossover 82 game season episode where we could break down, because some of the things that I think we give other teams credit for, I don't think we get the credit for, because every night, this is the thing. Every night somebody has to figure out how to stop Zion and Trey.
And that's what it boils down to. Like, that's literally all it boils down to, is that you have 2 dudes that can play, and then your Jordan Poole's your 3rd guy, like playing off those. Like, I'm really excited about the rest of a lot of teams in the NBA, except for Houston, Orlando, OKC's tough.
Yeah, but I'm not even comparing ourselves to them. Like,
no.
Yeah.
One more. I do have one more question for you. What do you? What's a successful season in your eyes for this year?
A successful season?
Yeah, like you're like, hey, that we had a successful season. You wouldn't be disappointed.
Making the 6 seed, top 6 seed, where you're resting that week when they're doing the play-in. A competitive first round series for sure. So this is the thing. I'm nervous about I want to win the series. I want to at least win a series, but I'm nervous that if we win a series, Willie gets an extension. So I'm torn. I'm torn between if the team think about it.
But if Willie wins a series, like if Willie can win a series, I think
he deserves. No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because if Willie wins a series and you extend Willie, right? Pause. That sounded a little crazy, but if you do that, then imagine what that team could have been if you had Mike Malone. Hypothetically.
I got one more thing, Charlie. So you're saying they do win a playoff series, whatever it may be, and Mike Malone is still available.
I'm firing Willie anyway.
And you're going to get Malone?
Yep.
Because I do think Mike Malone would actually then be intrigued to then coach that team because he's not intrigued right now.
Listen, I wrote this question down at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. I wrote this question down. Would a top coach like Mike Malone take this job?
That's a great question because he's got the same like familiarity with Willie and Borrego. Like he's coached here before and or played here. Mm-hmm. It's Mike Malone doesn't want to waste his time anymore.
No.
And so like he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. But if you give him some optimism, be like, man, that's true. If you give him some optimism, be like, man, I can deal with Zion and Trey, and they both have all-star seasons. I guarantee you he will be intrigued.
Imagine this, and this is my creme de la creme season. They get off to a good. This is my ideal season. They get off to a good start, right? 10 games over 500. They trade for Sabonis. They lock in the 6 seed. In the midst of trading for Sabonis, they say this team could take another leap. They fire Willie. They go with James. They go with James. If James does not perform, I think you get if you win the series, cool. If not, cool. You fire James. You bring in a coach like Mike, and now you could tell a coach like Mike Malone or any other top coach. You say, hey, look, I got Zion, I got Trey, I got Herb, I got Sabonis, I got Fears, we got Queen coming in the year 2. We still got picks we can make move with if need be.
That's how you promote your franchise. Like Mike Brown wanted the Knicks job. You're like, yeah, Mike Brown's not gonna turn that down. Mike Brown can say, like, man, this roster is really good. There's such a big question mark around Zion Williamson. If you can see an all NBA season, like you're saying about Zion, there are gonna be a lot of coaches be like, I can win with that guy.
Yeah,
I can win with Trey Murphy. I can win with Herb Jones. I can win with Jordan Poole, Fears, Queen. Like we just rattled off 6 guys that are very talented that should have a bright future.
I got one more.
They're young. No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
One question, and I know you gotta go. So this is it. If Zion makes All NBA, any All NBA team, are you giving him the extension? Because he's gonna ask for it.
Wow. That's a great question.
All NBA season, top 6 seed. They win a series. He carries them. They win a series. Gosh. And they lose. Let's say they lose in like a competitive 6-game series in round 2 to like.
It's like people like, why are you even thinking like it's a bona fide yes? It's like, of course it's yes because you're the Pelicans. Of course, like yes. Like I'm giving an extension. I'm just now worried. Like, okay, you give him more money, more years. Is he gonna then take it seriously the following years? And then are you locked into this like ridiculous contract? Or one thing I don't want, I mean, I'm gonna have to mention it, but like, what if he requests a trade? He's like, I'm not trading. I mean, what if he's like, he's got 2 years left, I think, and he wins a playoff series and his name's like, he's like, all right, I'm out.
Nah, you get the extension. Nah, I'll say this. Dang, see, you keep doing this. If he performs like that, I wouldn't trade him, but I
wouldn't trade him.
No, I believe in trading people with 2 years left than 1. If he performs that way, you could get a haul for him that you couldn't get now.
And that's where I think that's where it's like really, really interesting because like, once again, you don't have your picks for next year. Zion obviously has been a big disappointment his first 6 years. He does give you one good year, but he gave us a good year a couple of years ago. He played 70 games, but the injury, the cycle continued again last year. So like, man, this team, I'll tell you what, there is so much drama. He really is. There's so much drama around this team. That's why I love this team so much. Yeah. So, but shout out to you, man. I really enjoyed this. We got to do this more for sure.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Again, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate everybody that was in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe. Boo Crew Media is on, Pels on, Justin Knapp. Y'all make sure to go subscribe to their channels and tap in. Those dudes are getting awesome. So that's going to do it for us. We out. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Appreciate it.